Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Repentance, where today I will make another attempt at pressing the Greed Mode button with Judas, and so far, it's already more successful. Greed Mode is a wave-based, oh that's just really nice, a wave-based sort of system where you get coins every time you clear a wave, which you can spend in this shop right here. Luckily enough, we immediately got a health up, so the one worry with Judas immediately sort of disappeared. Plus there's 4 more soul hearts for sale here, so hopefully we can get those 15 coins to buy that. Plus, because there was a couple of coins in my item room that we could access without a key, we can immediately get this, the mulligan, this time around, which is wonderful. And I'd like to have Judas here because he does get the book and it retains its effect throughout waves. Plus, I believe if you use it multiple times now, you get a small extra damage boost every single time. And as you can see, the item is slowly but surely recharging every time a new wave starts, so we can press the button in the middle to stop the waves. However, it's not preferable because it takes, I think it actually costs a full heart of damage to do that, and I'd rather not. However, if you're playing this in multiplayer, then I think someone can just step on top of the button when they're a ghost after they have died, and it'll still work, even though they won't take any damage from it. And that's arguably the really only positive part about playing Greed Mode in multiplayer, because it doesn't really lend itself to it due to the fact that it doesn't really balance itself the same way that the main game does. You don't get extra boss room items, you just get less stuff, and it's kind of a frustrating mess to play in multiplayer if I'm honest, but it's fine for single player at least. It's not my favorite mode personally. However, I like the idea behind it. And while our book is still active, I will now press the button again to start the boss wave. You can at least go to your shop for free, kind of, except that obviously it will cost you your use of your Book of Belial if you are playing as Judas. But if you're playing as a different character, it might be worthwhile to visit your shop at this point. But that was pretty much that. Now we have one more wave remaining, which we can do to either go into our devil deal, or we could just leave if we so desire. I will do this wave because it usually is worthwhile. You tend to get some hearts out of this, and maybe you can get some items out of it from time to time as well, but it's seemingly more rare than from your average devil deal. But this time around we do have the option to take items, but both of them are not incredible. The conjoined transformation is pretty good, but I'd rather have the health at this point if I'm honest, so I will just leave that alone. But before going to buy stuff, I will just go into my curse room here, which isn't great, but at least we can take this to fully restore our red hearts and get 4 soul hearts in return. Immediately it puts a different item in its place, and I guess I could probably just pick up this coin right here because it doesn't seem that well protected. So I might as well, and I'm not sure what was over here. It was a battery. Not really necessary, I would say, so we can go on to the next floor. It more or less follows the same structure of floors that you would ordinarily see in a normal run, except only 1 floor instead of 2. But so far things are looking okay. We can get growth hormones, which is wonderful. Again, we got 2 coins in our item room, which is helping out a decent amount. And we could get 2 more hearts from this raw liver as well, which is usually a secret room item, but this shop is a wonderful shop that contains many things. Now this is an interesting item. It is Spore Shot, and this is going to cause tears to get stuck to enemies and then explode and deal a decent amount of damage and poison as well. And then usually the tear just stays on it and tries to do the same thing again. So it's very good against bosses. Very happy about that, to actually get that, especially against the final boss of this mode. It is a nice thing to have. Now one more thing I should, I guess, also mention is at the end of this, after you kill the boss of this mode, there is going to be a separate donation machine from the one that you see in the shop. And it is good to try and save some of your coins so you can put those in, and you can get some separate unlocks from doing so. And there's a couple of them which are really worthwhile, especially late game. There's going to be a couple of them which are more or less essential to your survival, so definitely do recommend it. it does take a bit to get all of them, but all in all, definitely worth your time, I would say, if you're trying to actually go for everything. But so far things are looking positive. We're doing pretty high amounts of damage at this point. Being able to use the Book of Belial is always good, but getting that damage up for free is just pretty much incredible, honestly. So, feeling pretty good about life so far. And the Spore Shot as well. As you can see, it's just doing a lot of poison damage. Unfortunately, when Peep jumps, these Spore Shots will fall off of him. But overall, I'd still say it was worth our while. And let's just do this one more time. This time around, the Satan Rush thing is going to be 2 of these, which is not too bad in this big room. And once again, we get a Devil Deal, even though we had chance to get either or. And we can actually get the Little Horn, which I thought was an unlock, but maybe we already unlocked it. I'm honestly not too sure. It's not bad. Because those tears that you fire that have that effect are pretty good, so I might actually just take it. It is going to guarantee that we're only going to get Devil Deals from this point on, but that's fine. And I think I'll take the Raw Liver as well. Okay, I'll take that too. That's really powerful. That increased our damage by a lot. And arguably, we might not need to take any more items from this point, except maybe Tier 8. But other than that, our build is so incredibly solid that we should be entirely fine. And that's Tier 8 as well, so maybe we'll just not have to spend any more money except for the occasional key. Just a free soul heart here. I do think Greed Mode gets a little bit harder as you do it a couple more times, and well, you don't get a ridiculous build like this. Yeah, because this is getting pretty wild, but I do think at some point you unlock something where it basically just becomes harder, but there is also a harder variant of Greed Mode that we unlock after putting 500 coins in said donation machine that I mentioned earlier. And we do actually need to beat that variant of it with all the characters as well, so it's a little frustrating, because the main thing as well is the chance for that donation machine to jam is a maximum of 1% on the harder Greed Mode, but simultaneously I feel like it's so hard that it's not really worth actively going for putting coins in that difficulty, so it is probably preferable to that's not great, to put coins in on this difficulty but try to get the unlocks on the other one just because you get extra ones. Yeah, we're dealing a lot of damage. But I mean, it's a matter of choice. There are a lot of characters, so even if you don't actively go for putting coins into the machine, then if you beat Greed Mode, or at least a harder version of Greed Mode with all the characters, you will still just end up putting a lot of coins in the machine because you just don't really have a choice. Don't really care for either of these. This is controllable tiers, which I don't like. It's not for me at all, but Lump of Coal is not terrible actually, so I might go for that. Our range is pretty bad, so I don't know how much this is going to affect our damage at all, but hopefully it's gonna work out. I could take Perfection. I'm not sure if, oh wait, does this make me shoot a whole bunch of little horn tears? Maybe. Not a whole, well yeah, kind of a lot. That might get pretty stupid. I'm curious to see how that's gonna work out. Now our shop doesn't sell any bombs, so I cannot get this Tinted Rock. Bombs are kind of rare in this mode, and that's fine. There is usually, I think only one secret room per floor as well, and it can more or less spawn all over the place. It might just be a super secret room as well, actually. But yeah, so far I'm still not too concerned for some reason. The apple is pretty great, but we're only going to get 2 more item rooms from this point that require keys. And that's Lemon Mishap. I will just touch it for good measure, but I think after that I'll just leave it alone. And let's just keep going. This is going to be, from the look of things, a fairly short run, but that's fine. I could maybe just do another one, because there is also an achievement for doing this with Azazel, and I think you unlock Lilith for doing that. Like beating this mode with Azazel. So I might actually just try that after this run, because it would be just kind of nice to get out of the way. I feel less confident doing this mode with Azazel because well, that went my luck up. The low range becomes pretty bad when trying to deal with the final boss of this mode, but Hopefully it won't be too bad. We'll just see how difficult it gets when we try, I suppose. For now, let's just try to beat this run. Which, I think only a couple more floors and then we're done. We might only be halfway at this point, I suppose. But it does, the time between waves does decrease the further you are in the run. So the later floors do go a bit quicker than the starting floors. Is this going to be Scolex? Yeah. Hopefully he'll... Oh, it's two of them. Good. But I think I'm still not in too much danger, even though there are two of them right now. I'm not playing this excessively carefully at this point either, but we have a lot of health. That's Dead Cat and Sulfur. Both are not bad, but I think my build is fine the way it is. I don't think I'm really gonna get... I mean, Brimstone is really good against the boss of this, actually. I will just take Sulfur. Plus, you know, we've seen Sulfur in the boss rush. It is more or less the same in this mode as well. In that it's just an explosion of death, and it's pretty great. It's pretty great. This brings us to the shore. Might as well just go into these item rooms immediately. I don't really want the range down because my range isn't great because of the things we have taken so far. And I don't think we really need more tier 8 either. I think we're doing fine. I just realized I will be using Brimstone for basically the remaining floors. So it doesn't really matter that much if I have a range down. So probably I should pick number 1 thinking about it. I do like the color of our Brimstone right now. It looks like nice. It's very aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, I would say this is a decent build for Greed mode. All in all, this seems effective enough. Using Sulfur a third time unfortunately doesn't have an extra visual effect, but it would have been nice. But I suppose this is fine. This is fine the way it is. Not even using this thing more often at this point, just because there's no real reason to. Strength and Justice. Well, I'll just use this one and take the other one with me, I suppose. I might be able to just take 99 coins with me to the final boss, which would be wonderful. Would not say no to that. And yeah, I'll just take that because even though the range is pretty bad, I don't think it's really gonna have an effect on things, and my tier rate being higher is actually kind of nice. So, acceptable in the end, I would say. This floor, the shop, does not have any item rooms, so we can just get started immediately. And yeah, I would say the higher tier rate is actually quite nice. The mulligan is creating a lot of things. I'm not sure why we unlock Bot and Penny, but once again, it's one of those things I can very easily accept. It would be nice to get like the car battery or something with this build, because then if you use this item once, it will activate twice and you'll just always have the big beam, and that would be kind of nice for the final boss of this mode. But simultaneously, I think it's fine if we just have regular Brimstone for the boss as well. So it doesn't matter too much, I suppose. But it would be nice. It would be a nice little thing. Let's just clear out these remaining enemies. Should probably stop running into bosses, but you know what? That's fine. I'm feeling like we're still doing okay, even if I run into bosses repeatedly. We almost certainly could have once again gotten 2 Guppy pieces this run and not quite 3. And I assume getting Guppy in this mode also actually count towards unlocking that challenge as well. Also, we got a bomb somewhere along the line, and I guess one thing I never really showed off was blowing up the reroll machines, but it's not the same as it used to be, unfortunately. It just blows up the machine every time now. We did not get a car battery, which is fine. It means that I think I'll just take 2 more coins and then be on my way with the things that we have. Would have probably preferred to have the bomb for this singular tinted rock, but truly did not expect to get a tinted rock in this mode in general. And so far we've seen 2, which is fairly rare. Now that brings us to the Ultra Greed floor. When we get close to the door, we will spawn a small boss thing. Not too scary. And after that comes Ultra Greed, which with high range is not a problem, and with the damage that we're dealing, it's going to be over rather quickly, I would say. He has a multitude of attacks, some which are tedious and others which are not too bad. This is fine. He's going to heal up a little bit when those hearts reach him. He's going to spawn a lot of enemies, but because we have Brimstone, that's just not going to be a problem at all. And because of the spore shot, we're still actually getting a decent amount of spores to latch onto him, even though we don't have tears. So I'm happy that that synergy works as well. And occasionally his eyes are 2 keys, and then if you don't blow up these keys, then it's going to open one of the doors on the side and it's going to spawn a bunch of enemies. But this one is probably the most annoying one because it has these spinning coins that deal damage, and it can be rather tricky to dodge from time to time, but this time around it's not too bad. And yeah, fortunately, because our range is so high right now, there's no problem, but being close to him when he's doing all these attacks can be really scary. So far, provided we can just stay out of his way as much as possible, nothing is really going to go wrong except for these coins falling out of the sky, maybe. But it does look like we beat Ultra Greed without even taking damage, I think. We unlocked my Shadow, which is certainly an item. And we can put some coins in the donation machine over here. Immediately, lucky pennies are available now. And the 0% indicates the jam chance of this thing, which raises by a couple percentage the more coins you put in it. And I think that percentage is also based on which character you do it with. Like every character has its own percentage as well. And I think every 200 or 300 coins is pretty much the cap, and on this difficulty it will basically be at a 20% jam chance, so you can't really put more coins into it with that character. But 99 on the first one's not bad. We unlocked a variety of good things, especially Kane starting with the paperclip is something I just really like. But yeah, that took 15 minutes, so I might just do another run after this. It's a strange ending, but yeah, there was a couple of unlocks there. I did say that Kane starting with the paperclip is pretty great, just because he now has that trinket that unlocks gold keys every single time without using a gold chest, rather, not a gold key. He gets free gold chests. That's just a nice thing to have, provided you still hold that trinket. But there's also lucky pennies, which give you a luck up sometimes. There is the special shopkeepers, which are shopkeepers with nickels in their eyes, I think, and they have a pretty high chance of giving you 5 coins when you blow them up, so there's some good stuff in there. But let's do another run, this time with Azazel, to see if we can unlock Lilith. There is technically a health up here, but that 0.4 speed down is pretty rough, so I'd rather not have that. We can get a couple of extra items here just simply because we are Azazel. And the flight allows us to get some extra things from time to time. Probably should have used that full card, but I'm not too bothered by it. And here we go. Now, as I said previously, his range is going to be an interesting experience. It can be rather easy to accidentally just run into the button as well, which is something you definitely have to look out for. That's one thing I did a lot when I did Greed Mode for the first couple of times as well. Like, it's so easy to miss it and accidentally run into it. Apparently a quarter dropped. I guess one of these pots had a quarter inside of it, so that's obviously incredible for this mode because money is more or less the most important thing that you can get. So let's just take that immediately. But that does increase the likelihood that this run is going to be okay, because it just gives us access to more things, and that's really the main way that you're going to win a Greed Mode run. Primarily, if I can get some kind of range. Obviously Sulfur is amazing. If we could get that again, then I'm not going to say no to it. But if we can get any other forms of range or stuff like that, that is more or less the main thing I'm looking for. Tier rate is going to be pretty great as well, and any way to get a lot of health or maybe the wafer or something like that is going to be super good. Anything that just keeps us alive for the final fight is what I'm looking for. The rest of Greed mode with Azazel is pretty straightforward. Provided you know how to kill enemies, then you're not going to struggle too much with it. However, I did also take damage to Gemini the other day with this character, so who knows what I'm going to do today in terms of great decision making. But let's do our best on not taking damage and keeping our health as high as possible. But it definitely means I do want to go for these Devil Deal runes as well. I should have probably gotten my health up a little bit before doing that, though, thinking about it, because if there is a Devil Deal that I can't take now, that would actually suck quite bad. But we'll see, I suppose. That's the kind of decision making that hopefully isn't going to bite us in the butt. Plus, quite frequently there is just hearts in there. Plus, I took damage anyway, so even if I did take one extra soul heart, wouldn't have worked out because I forgot to dodge. But it's fine. Hopefully it's gonna be okay. There's probably not gonna be sulfur in the first Devil Deal, right? Right? Okay, that's actually terrible. So, well, the item is terrible. I don't love this item. It's actually probably fine with this character in particular, just because you don't immediately have red hearts, but it does set your health, your red hearts to half a heart, and it gives you extra damage for that, which is not... it's not terrible technically, but I've never really had a good experience with it. It always catches me off guard, and I primarily get that item when I have Curse of the Blind or something like that. It always feels like an accident to get it. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that alone for now. I will take the question mark card in case that's going to be useful later. And let's see what our item room holds before picking up everything. 2 flies orbiting us is not terrible. Might get the torn photo for the tears up. And maybe just a couple of soul hearts there. Other than that, don't really need much from this shot. We got the coupon for probably just... Oh, wow, that actually works. Alright, so member card is definitely for spending 40 coins in one shop, which I didn't know that worked in greed mode, but that does make that unlock a lot easier, because you're very likely to do so. So that worked out. Otherwise, we'd have to spend 40 coins in a regular run. There is also one for getting 99 coins and then spending all of them, and that might be relevant. Also, sales are just so good. Also, I don't have that character yet, so I'm surprised that I can even do that. But fair enough, I suppose. Could get 5 extra bombs by taking that. That's not a terrible idea. I might actually just do that, just because bombs have weird uses from time to time. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to maybe get a key first, or check my item room in case there could be a key in there, but it's probably fine. We got a range up there, which is not too bad. So let's just do this floor and see how much money we get. We're probably not going to get as much money as the previous floor, because it's unlikely we're just going to get another quarter here, but so far things are looking fine. They're not looking incredible, but my health is alright. So really, let's just hope for sulfur until we get something that is more or less equivalent. Or let's hope that I am capable of doing Ultra Greed with low range. That's really the 2 things that I'm going to hope for, I think, this time around. There are a couple of items which give a variety of protections as well, like some of them make sure you only take half a heart of damage, and that would be nice. Sometimes you get shields or something like that as well. If we can get Book of Shadows, actually, that wouldn't be too bad, especially with the question mark card, because it would mean we get 2 uses of it. And I think the second one might actually be pretty amazing as well, because I think using Book of Shadows with that card makes it last a little bit longer than usual. And that would be pretty good as well. There's definitely a whole bunch of stuff that would amplify our build by a lot. But so far, we are still a ways away from having to worry about all of that, I suppose. For now, let's just see that we actually make it to the boss first before making plans on how to defeat the boss. But it is something you need to have in the back of your mind, just assuming that you are going to reach the boss and then how are you going to actually fight him? Because it is probably the most difficult part of greed mode in the end. But let's see what we get today. We get Peep, which is always a good time when you have low range, because it means you have to dodge those tears from up close. Fortunately, Peep in this mode isn't too bad, simply because this room is really large. And having a large room is just really nice, because the eyes are not nearly as big of a problem. But I would like to kill Monstro first, simply because he's going to get in the way for sure, and that's just not great. Plus the creep doesn't really do anything against the Zazel, so I don't have to worry about that either. There's a lot of aspects of Peep that I don't have to worry about in this room, so that is quite nice actually. Just gotta make sure to dodge those tears and to make sure I don't forget about the eyes entirely. But that's more or less it. And maybe not put myself in a corner there. That's probably not a terrible idea either. But so far things are looking okay. What's in my devil deal? It is my shadow, which is definitely an item, and little horn. Which, I mean, it does work. But I'd rather not spend 3 soul hearts on it. That's really the main thing. Let's go check our item room over there. We have 10 bombs right now, so we could occasionally at least bomb something. We do have the shatter bombs as well, so we're just going to be launching a lot of bombs here. Does this work with this character? I actually have no idea what this does. It gave me a pretty significant range up, so that's obviously pretty great. It seems to just be entirely positive. Pretty great. Pretty good. The intruder is not bad. Like, being able to just take a bunch of items is just pretty great. And I think I'll just leave it at that. I don't really need the bloodshot eye. So let's just move on. I'm not really trying to get many coins right now, which I probably should try and save up a little bit, but at the same time we're only halfway through this run so far, so it doesn't matter too much, I suppose. We have this, which is another range up. Don't know if it increases the size of my brimstone. I assume it doesn't, but so far so good. We have Mama Bomb, which doesn't really work in this mode, unfortunately, but that's fine. Let's just get the key, go into the curse room, get 2 more soul hearts. This is actually going pretty nicely. And get the cube, baby. This is such a strange item, but I do kind of appreciate it for what it is. It's not super useful, but if you, I assume that if you know how to use it, it probably is not bad at all, because ice is pretty powerful as an attack, because it does have this sort of occasional insta-kill thing. It slows enemies down, plus the frozen enemies can explode into tears as well. Like, it's definitely not bad. It's just a little unwieldy. But I do like the idea of the item. It just amuses me in its own little way. But I'm just gonna leave it in the corner there for now. It's the unwieldiness of the item is definitely a bit unfortunate. But I suppose that also adds to the charm. It's nice that it also is part of the conjoined transformation, because it means that it might be worth to pick up a couple more babies, because conjoined with this character is pretty wonderful. You shoot tears in 3 different directions usually, and this time it'll be brimstone that gets shot in 3 different directions, and that is just a lot of brimstone. It's just wonderful. So if you can get that to happen, that would just be peachy. I'm a little concerned about the one that's currently underground. Yeah. When that boss becomes lost in its own little way, it can get a little spooky, but fortunately he decided not to just open up on me without me noticing where he was, so worked out. Surprised that didn't deal damage, but I assume maybe they just can't deal damage when they come out of the floor there. So far, still no worries. That spider appeared. I sure hit the big horn here with that ice cube, which completely changed the game, I would say. I also did say the ice slows enemies down, but I'm not sure if it was actually the ice or if it was the spider shot that I'm currently doing, because both seem like likely candidates of something that might cause a little bit of slowdown, but the intruder, yeah, the intruder is definitely slowing things down. And the ice cube might. Honestly, not 100% sure. But that's, oh, it's him again, good. Normally you get like a slightly difficult one, but this time we just get the same thing, which is fair enough, I suppose. I mean, I'm not too against it or anything. It just means life is a little bit easier, but it does seem a little odd, doesn't it? But the slowdown is definitely helping out with this fight so far. Wouldn't mind a little bit more tear rate. My range is not amazing, but it's not terrible by any means. So it's probably definitely good enough to fight Ultra Greed with at least. But again, if there is sulfur, I will take it, simply put. Now the nail only gives half a black heart now every time you use it. And it does give a speed down as well, which is not great. I'm not gonna get... I don't think I'd even get my health back. I don't really feel like taking that. Being able to crush rocks with it isn't even that great either because I have so many bombs right now. I might take this simply because of the tear rate. Everything else I'm not really too interested in. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. We have incredible health right now. So if we can just keep that up, that would be wonderful. Let's go to the womb, get 2 more items. Get more tear rate. Eventually we might hit a cap on that, but yeah, so far we're doing good. Not minding how this is going. Might be some coins in here as well. Let's just blow up these shopkeepers, which is almost certainly going to blow up that reroll machine as well. Yeah, there you go. I actually missed one of them. The Dreamcatcher is not bad, but not in this mode, unfortunately. In normal circumstances, being able to see your item rooms before you go in them is really good because it protects you against... Oh my god. It protects you against Curse of the Blind really well. And also, it allows you to strategize more regarding planetariums, but... yeah, in this mode, there is some use to it because you don't have to buy a key, I suppose, but that's really about it. Had I gotten it on floor 1, it might have been worthwhile, but this late in the run, I don't feel like it is. Because, I mean, you do get a soul heart out of it, which is not bad. And there are... Alright, there's an item there. There are 2 floors remaining with locked doors, but I already have 1 key as well. So it just barely doesn't quite work out in terms of being worthwhile, I'd say. So I'll just leave that alone. But I would argue that at the start of a greed mode run, it is kind of worthwhile just to see if you want to spend money on keys. Unless you just get free keys, and then it stops being worthwhile again. It's finicky is what it is. I kind of just ran into that enemy there. They do have rather unusual movement, I suppose, but... they're very dodgeable by just sort of existing. Also, my head is gone again because of the intruder. He does have a tendency to remove my entire head. Also, if I had Transcendence right now, I think I'd be invisible. Which wouldn't be great because it just really makes it a lot more harder to tell where you are. Oh boy. This room just filled to the brim. Like, this boss feels significantly harder than what we just faced in terms of a devil deal wave. Actively trying to speak while doing this. It is not working out. Please just do a lot of damage. At least we didn't get any masks. We only got hearts, which is kind of an unusual wave, I suppose. But yeah, that got a little bit spooky right there. But it worked out, I'd say. Where? Oh, there. It's not my favorite wave. That's what I'm gonna conclude that one on, I think. This boss is not too terrible with this character because his creep attack is always the one that catches me off guard the most. If he doesn't have that because I'm flying, then yeah, it doesn't matter too much. Although this one seems to be only shooting tears, so maybe this particular one doesn't even have that attack. Apparently, this is not part of the conjoined transformation, so I will just leave that alone and instead take the damage up and leave. And I don't think there was anything left in my shop that I want. Yeah. I think I'll just blow up that machine. This is going to be an interesting bomb, I think. I am a little bit concerned about the random bomb effects, but that one didn't even seem to have an effect beyond what I already had. Which is odd. I guess I could have looked for my secret room there, but I don't like looking for secret rooms in greed mode. It always feels very disappointing because it's always just bombing everything. I mean, this is fine, I suppose. Speed up's not bad. Damage up is not bad. I'm just gonna try exactly once. Oh, we might actually be getting glitter bomb effects, which is ending up giving us more bombs and keys than we know what to do with. That is amazing if I can get an active item. The magician doesn't really work with this brimstone, I don't think. Apparently it's a pretty decent range up. I actually didn't know that. That's actually pretty good to know. I might look for an active item. Or at least re-roll until I get something on sale. That would be nice. Or just that, yeah. Just get another magic mushroom. That seems perfectly reasonable. Don't think Jar of Flies works with this trinket. So I'm just gonna re-roll one more time. And placebo would work. But it just seems like it's not really worth the money to buy placebo just to have my trinket work. It's tricky, isn't it? Curious about tarot cloth with my current card, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I think I'll take this. And I'll just leave it at that. Because I wouldn't mind using this in my Devil Deal or Angel Room in the hope of getting either a good Devil Deal item or a wafer or something like that. I think at this point on I should probably stop spending money though and just go with what I have. Also, I'm curious with the question mark card how that works with this item. Does that give you 2 items instead? That would be nice. I guess that's worth trying out. I hope I remember. I actually genuinely hope I remember because now I'm currently very curious about it. So it would be kind of a shame to waste that opportunity because this is it's not very common that you have this card and also a chance to do something like that. Also kind of curious how it would work with like car battery if it would like give you 1 or 2 items, but I assume it would only give you 1, surely. But I suppose we'll see somewhat soon enough. This wave shouldn't take too long. I can't believe we got another magic mushroom though, like that's bizarre. Magic mushroom is such a good item. That damage multiplier that you get is so strong, and with Azazel especially, he already is so strong. He already deals so much damage. Look at what he's doing to Monstro 2 over there. People are starting to feel bad for him. But that's okay. In the end, it is what it is. Any way to make Monstro 2 go a little bit quicker, I suppose, is worthwhile. I nearly stepped on the button there as well, which is excellent. Some good gameplay, but provided the blue fire helps me out a little bit, we might just get out of this room alive with the gigantic mess that I have made by just carelessly shooting Envy over and over. The downside as well about greed mode, I suppose, and this is more of a me thing, is that I genuinely run out of things to talk about. Also, that was Krampus, I guess, yeah. Alright, so Crown of Light is pretty damn good. Until I take damage. The other 2 aren't great. Let's use our card. Oh, that just gives you an item and not doesn't use it. Okay. It just gives you the item and lets you keep the present, I guess. That's surprising. And let's get some extra flight. We got a Forgotten Horseman, maybe for taking 1,000,000 Angel Room items. I am not sure how you unlock that, but truth be told, I'm starting to realize that when I started this save file saying, I have a decent idea how to unlock everything, it really boils down to, I know how to unlock very specific things, and after that everything becomes fuzzy. Oh, alright. Sure, Mom's Purse for free, randomly in a corner. I mean, I'm not really using my trinkets to its maximum capacity. I could give this demon some hearts, I suppose. Oh, I definitely shouldn't, should I? Because of the thing. Right, okay. Let's just put that red heart back again. Because otherwise my crown doesn't work. And my crown is giving me a large amount of damage. I need to make sure not to actually take damage as well. I need to actually play the game. Wasn't actually ready for that, I suppose. But so far so good. I think otherwise I may need to leave the room as well when I take damage, which isn't great, but not too bad when I reach the boss rooms, the boss waves rather. Yeah, so far It's working out. Just don't take damage. That's really the best strategy you can have for any Isaac run when you think about it. I also like how these worms turning out to just be heads from time to time. Fairly unusual. Just throw some ice at enemies. Alright, so far, didn't take any damage. That boss died instantly. It's the same boss again, but I guess another one, yeah. Because the health bar went down a lot slower. And one more boss wave, which is that boss again, and some hands from the look of things. Pretty impressive. And the secret room opened because a hand just opened it. How nice. Just make sure not to get hit by more hands, but other than that, I think we got them all. Seems like it at least. Curious about my secret room. Usually they're not amazing. I mean, this is a pretty significant damage up. Plus 6.11. Yeah, sure. Perfectly reasonable. And it's basically nothing. It's just a door to the next floor. Alright, well, fair enough. Let's just check out this for good measure. There is a button, so gotta press it. There is a bunch of hearts, but I wouldn't mind having this soul heart be close to the door. Because then I can do this. I can push it slightly away before actually going through the door, you see. But this should work. There we go. Full health for the boss. I could use some of those red hearts to give that demon beggar some cool stuff, but that's fine. Probably should have blown up a couple things there though, because the extra money might have helped out, but that's fine as well. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. There's a whole bunch of shopkeepers over here. I'm sure some of them will have some coins. We got 50% off at the very end. That's great. Occasionally we have some tears flying around us. I guess I actually have to use all of my bombs as well because I might get more money out of it with the glitter bomb effect from time to time. Let's see how this boss goes. I'm feeling pretty confident this is going to be okay. As long as I don't take damage after that, I'm not sure what my damage is going to be like. Probably like half of what it currently is. But if we can just avoid it, that would be amazing. But there are some attacks like this where I'm not even going to... I'd rather not even be near him. And yeah, we lost half of our damage when we got it there. But hopefully we're still going to be fine. He himself deals 1 full heart of contact damage. Other than that... Oh, wow. That was weirdly out of sync, those explosions. But if I just get hit by all the other stuff rather than him, then it's also fine. Really just need to not get hit by Ultra Greed himself, and then we'll probably be okay. Also, when there's too many enemies on screen, he starts blocking, and then you deal significantly less damage per attack, which isn't great. But the slowdown that we're causing with the intruder is helping out a decent chunk as well. But provided you just leave him every time he starts spinning and just attack him when it's safe, that's probably not the worst strategy in the world. But it is a little boring. It is fun to just sort of go at him and hope for the best as well, you know? That's one of the special shopkeepers as well that we unlocked 1 greed mode run ago. So that's exciting. Might give us 5 coins after we blow him up with our mini bombs. But if my hard mode greed mode run is going to be like this as well, I'm not going to be too disappointed, I would say, because our build is preposterous. This is not my usual experience with greed mode. I usually get something that barely works and then you just make the best out of it. But if we can just get this build every single time, yeah, no problem. It does make greed mode a lot easier, and the unlocks for it are worth getting, unfortunately. It's just a shame that you just need to put so many coins into the machine before you also unlock the harder version as well. But fair enough. We got Lilith, and that's really the main thing that I wanted out of this particular greed mode run. I guess I should also be careful with the potential for large explosions, but it doesn't really matter what we do at this point. I'm just gonna... Right, you can't blow that up. That's good, because I didn't really consider that. Let's see if we can get some coins out of our remaining bombs. So far, just a lot of nonsense, but no coins. The ghosts are a fun effect. I probably should have used more bombs during this fight, huh? That would have been smart. Instead, we get some troll bombs. And a bunch of ghosts. And, 'cause yeah, that probably would have done a lot of damage. Ah, well. We got a decent amount of coins into our greed machine. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that would do it. That's probably going to cause greed mode to be a lot harder and our builds to be worse, but you know what? We had a good time with the 2 runs that we did. And I'm sure I'll do greed mode again some other time, but not the next run probably. It has been good. But that is that. We managed to actually click on greed mode. We did 2 runs for the price of 1 in roughly the amount of time it takes to do 1 regular run, which is fair enough. That's just the greed mode experience if you're incredibly lucky 2 times in a row. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Next time we play, I might do some challenges, might do a daily challenge. I'm not really sure yet, but I will hope to see you next time, whatever I do next. Bye-bye.